Hello, Renaissance tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play a new Final Fantasy game with me, BlueAnkylo. This is my third or fourth time trying to start this video. I'm having a hard time. I just want to get to the... There's a lot of things I can talk about, but I want to get to the game. So, this specific game is not a ROM hack. It is not an official Square Enix remake. It is a fan-made project in, I believe, Unity to recreate the original Final Fantasy in new code. You can play classic mode, which is basically the original game. They have fixed bugs. I'm not going to talk about every single bug this time, but if you really remember the NES version, there's a bunch of weird little bugs that this is fixed, which makes it overall a little easier. It generally the bug fixes benefit the player. I am technically running through a solo thief in that version as an experiment to see how it compares to the original. It's going just fine. I'll give you updates if I go back to it. I'm not planning on recording any of that. Sadly, there are only 4 saves. If you're playing along, maybe I'll leave a link in the description how to get it. I've done a couple runs just to sort of see how it works to make sure I want to actually let's play it, which I do, which is why we're here. There's only 4 saves, but if you find the save file location on your computer or whatever device you're on, you can back them up and create new save slots effectively. I accidentally overwrote a couple because I didn't realize I could do that because, you know, duh. But it would be nice if the game had like 10 or more save slots because, you know, it's a modern game, right? Anyway, so the point is, we've got classic mode, which I haven't really played a lot of because I've played the base game a million times. What's more interesting for me is Renaissance mode, which specifically adds a whole bunch of new jobs, and every job also gets skills and other secrets that we'll learn about later on. And there's a bunch of new content, which is pretty cool. This is what I'm going to show off. There is a New Game Plus mode. I've done one run of that as well, just to see it. If you play it, if you download it and give it a shot, you won't have this. At first, just beat one game normally and it'll unlock. One normal game doesn't take too long, and then here you go. In my opinion, New Game Plus wasn't that hard. Maybe I had a really strong party, but you get way more experience when you beat enemies, and you start pre-promoted, which tends to be very strong. So although the enemies are stronger, they hit harder, stuff like things like some of the big bosses and ghosts in the Water Shrine. Like, there are some enemies that are pretty brutal with the extra stats, but if you're familiar with, like, Final Fantasy Randomizer, it's just like having some buffed up attack damage on them. It's not that crazy, and you level up really fast, so not bad, fun, but different kind of playstyle. I'll be playing normal mode. Now, there are a ton of classes. I have played through, I think, like 2 or 3 runs now, and I've tested them out a little bit just to get the gist of some of them. My first run was the one I really remember the most: Warrior, Monk, White Mage, Black Mage, the classic that I always go to when I'm trying to test it out. It was totally fine, and I didn't even notice anything that strange about them. They're pretty close to their original classes. I haven't tried Thief at all. Maybe we will today. I've tried Red Mage a little bit, but I haven't got very far with them yet. And then there's all these other classes. I've used Blue Mage a lot. All the enemy skills, pretty cool. Dancer I have not used very much other than the basics, but they do have some like healing and stuff, so it's kind of an interesting mixed class. Geomancy, very much like FF5 Geomancy, you'd get different spells based on where you are. You get to select them, though, so it's not totally random. But yeah, they're pretty good. The Lancer was pretty strong. Jump, unfortunately, does take, like, 2 turns to hit, which kind of sucks in a way. Like, you're giving up a turn. And they're not very good at tanking. And, like, standard FF1 rules, the top slot of your 4-party takes 50% of all attacks. And you want someone with a lot of armor, like a fighter, to draw the attack so your squishy mages don't get killed. If you're flying around in the air, you're not protecting the mages, so it's a bit not the best front row fighter, even though they're heavy armor. But they're perfectly good, as far as I know. I have not used Trainer very much, but they do control enemies pretty easily compared to like FF5 rules. And then, you know, they might be good. I don't know. I haven't used them very much. Evokers, I did not like very much. They get all the cool summons you'd be familiar with in other Final Fantasy games, but the damaging ones like Shiva, Ifrit, all that kind of stuff take 2 turns to hit. And unless you're really struggling for damage, usually everything's dead by then. So you kind of waste a turn and to get an AoE sweeper that kills everything later. But it doesn't matter very often. And I generally found, although they could do tremendous damage, they weren't quick enough to be my playstyle. Like, they generally lag behind. Like, if you just have Black Mage, if you just have a Black Mage and cast Ice 3 or Lightning 3, you'll probably kill most things if you know your weaknesses. The Evoker will never even get to do anything. But it's not that he can't do anything else, it's just his main damage dealing is a bit weak. Or at least slow. It's probably the highest AoE spells, just they're slow. Time Mage is really cool. This was a very complicated class. Not a big damage dealer, all support and like teleporting, traveling around. They kind of break the game with float. You can cast float on the overworld. You can go places you shouldn't go. You can teleport around the map, back into dungeons. You can restart battles if you get ambushed or suck, or just bad luck. So it's kind of like having a life caster, because as long as they don't die, if someone else dies, you can restart the battle and hope they don't get killed again, right? So it's pretty cool. I like the Time Mage, even though they're not a major damage dealer. Green Mage I have not used very much. They seem like a kind of worse White Mage to me. They have a bunch of custom spells and mostly buffing, but I don't know. I haven't used them enough to really say much. Bard, I did play through with a Bard. They're better than Edward. They're not as spoony, and they may be better than FF5 Bards. I know I hated them tremendously. You know, whatever. Dark Knight, pretty strong. They use a custom weapon, a new type of weapon, like a greatsword, that sucks. Most of the game, it sucks. Huge damage, literally negative accuracy, so you're never going to get good hit rates, and you're not going to get multiple attacks for a very long time. In a good party that can support them, that will be less of a problem, but they're like all damage, and although I think in the end game, once again, they can be very, very powerful, they're kind of weak until you get to pretty high levels, at least post-promotion. Spellblade, this guy was cool, but again, kind of slow. It takes a turn to set up, just like FF5 Spellblade, when you put like Fire Sword on and then kill things in one hit. I think they potentially are very powerful, but they have a lot of setup. Archer, have not used at all, and that's it. So that's the whole set right now, and I'm trying to think of what kind of party I want to make. I want to just show off the basics without spending too much more time on it. Let's go with a class. I want to use classes I haven't done on my own yet. So I want to bring, I guess I've tried most of them. I want an archer, because I have not brought an archer ever. I have not used a thief ever. I will want, they can be like my two mid rows. They're kind of like I need someone up front, and then thief and archer are probably okay in the middle, and then I probably want someone with magic at the back. So the first slot, who's going to be my front row character? What do I want to show off? Well, talking about them all, obviously Warrior's the standard one. I don't want to use him again, and also it's too vanilla. Blue Mage, not heavy armor. Basically the same equipment as a Red Mage, which is kind of middle armor, but not too crazy. There's not a lot of heavy armor guys, are there? Dark Knight, I could try the Dark Knight again. Depends on the party, like, I don't know, at least it's new. New for you guys, right? Yeah, I'm struggling to think, like, I guess it kind of comes down to, like, Dragoon, which is slow, or Dark Knight, which is a bit faster. You know what, we'll go with the Dark Knight. That seems like fun. I don't have, like, character names. Also, an important note, you can have 6 character names now. That's an upgrade from 4 to 6. I don't have, like, viewers right now, so we'll just take names from where they are in the series if they have a place in the series. Obviously, we know who Dark Knight is. There's only really one. And I think I will try a thief. I have not used them in this mod. Usually, my always case is FF1 thieves are the worst. Who's a classic FF Final Fantasy thief that I want to use? They do eventually turn into a ninja as well, so it's not like they're stuck here forever. What's the one? Zidane, I guess? Does that fit? It's kind of the primary thief. Yeah, that'll work. Hopefully that's how you spell it. Is there any other thieves? I don't know if there's any other, like, official thieves in the first 10 games. Anyway, what else? I was going to do Hunter. I think Archer or Hunter, whatever they're... Yeah, maybe they're promoting to Hunter. I have a feeling they're going to be another kind of slow character with aiming or something, but we'll see. Do we have any good Archer units in the series? I know, like, obviously FF5, anyone could be an Archer, but... I'm trying to think if there's any bow wielders. I guess in the second FF2, Maria is sort of an archer. She starts with a bow, at least. I think it's Maria. I forget some names. It doesn't really matter. And then finally, yeah, I want someone to cover magic. And I don't think I decided... I mean, we could try Green Mage. What I'm missing, I think, will be AoE. What are we looking at? Oh, right, you can also go empty. Dark Knight is mostly single target. Thief is probably not DPS. Archer is... I don't actually know very well. Like, they might get multi-hit, like FF5. But they're generally single target, I would gather. So I'm missing, like, multi-target AoE sweeper, and I'm missing healing. So you might be like, we should go Red Mage. Maybe? Blue Mage is not really very much support. It's not like modern Blue Magic where there's, like, Big Guard and White Wind and stuff. It's just the enemy skills in FF1, and they're pretty much all status affliction or damage dealing, which is fine, but that's kind of all you get. Dancer, we could try a Dancer. I haven't used them very much. Maybe I'll use one of my other less used classes. But their Dancers aren't AoE either. I mean, I know we're talking about I didn't like Evokers very much. Maybe I should show them off? I feel like Summoners are one of the more classically loved ones. I also really like Time Magic. Now, their spells... There's a little bit of AoE, but that's not their thing. They're more... I think this group is a bit weak on survivability. They're pretty cool. Oh, man, there's so many... This is the trouble with this thing. There's so many cool classes. It's actually really hard to pick a party. What do I want to show off today? I want to show off cool content. Maybe we go for... There's some achievements. Maybe we go for a fun achievement with the Time Mage. Sure, I don't know if this is a good party or not. I'm going to just say that Tella is kind of a Time Mage because he's old. And technically gets Meteor, which is Time Magic Classic. So, there you go. Sure, it's a group. I don't know. I only know them a little bit. I don't know how strong these guys will be. Anyway, here we are, playing Final Fantasy 1. I will say, if you want to play along, figure out what button that is on your controller or keyboard immediately. Go to controls and rebind. I had a lot of trouble getting my gamepad to work. There's definitely some finickiness using gamepads with this thing. But you can remap it pretty well once you can get here, assuming your dead zones and stuff are okay on your gamepad. Once I got everything configured in the gamepad setting, much, much better. And it is like, this button that loads up this menu is I don't think it's the main menu. No, main menu is the in-game main menu. It's what I've got mapped to Y, I think. Sorry, this is actually, like, really important. Whatever, it is one of the buttons. Whatever, once you can get here, you can fix it yourself. But yeah, I had a hard time with that. And I definitely recommend going 4 times game speed, and auto retarget are good options as well. Okay, anyway, so yeah, that's all there. And there is a bestiary, which I don't want to spoil, but hey, there's some new monsters in there. And there's a whole big achievement thing. I'm not going to go through them all with you because it'll take too long. But there's also a soft reset, so it's a very handy, meta control. But yeah, let's look at our basic party. So we've got, Dark Knight, Thief, Ranger, and Time Mage. Yeah, we'll see how our damage dealing goes. Interestingly, we'll get magic on the Dark Knight, not something Final Fantasy IV had. And we'll see what the Thief does. You'll see the stat screen's a little bit different. We're also in widescreen. There's some minor differences like that already. The stats are presented a little differently, hit percent and crit percent. I think crit percent's a little different, and evade percent's a little different than the numbers in the original game. Because originally it was a number, but it was like out of 255. Now it's maybe closer to real. I don't know. I'm not super in on the deep down math and numbers, but yeah. One of the main things to learn when you're starting up is your skills. So there are in-combat skills that you can use, limits that we don't have right now, and sometimes world abilities for some classes, and then just passives like traits. So our Dark Knight can use a turn to give himself lifesteal for the next 2 turns, which might even mean just the next turn. But we'll test it out when we get going. It's a way to heal yourself, which means he's a really good tank at the front. Kind of like one of the FF14 MMO Dark Knight tanks is probably more what they're thinking, rather than Cecil. We also get some black magic. We are naturally resistant to darkness. And if something else is darked or blinded, we get extra accuracy. And that can mean extra attacks. Not just you hit more often, but you actually get more swings, which is pretty cool. The Thief. Well, here we go. Haven't seen these yet. So you can melee attack, steal gold. Of available gold. I mean, you're going to get it when you win the fight anyway. I wonder if it, like, duplicates it or something. Because otherwise you just win the fight. It doesn't really matter. And it does less damage and can't crit. So it's a little on the weak side. This is the one that we'll be looking for. Search the area for hidden valuables. So we're gonna try to find secrets. And we also just move faster. Okay, that's like, I think, yeah, Final Fantasy V had something like that. That's pretty cool. Hunter. Aim. Yeah, I had a feeling. Pull back. Hold it for 1 to 3 turns. Huh. I'm not a huge fan of things that you charge up, like the old monk focus thing, where you just charge, and do a huge hit. It only really matters on enemies that have counterattacks, which are in future Final Fantasies, but not in this Final Fantasy. So, other than that, you're just kind of wasting turns to maybe kill something later on. It needs to do more than... Like, if you charge for 3 turns, it needs to do more than triple damage, otherwise you should have just attacked it. Anyway, we'll see. And, here we go. Hunter, you can poach enemies to get extra materials. Interesting. You can craft magic arrows. Interesting. We are better with bows, which is good, because there are no natural FF1 bows, so they're all custom, and we'll see where they are. The weapon and armor shops sort of auto-update based on the party you have, which is helpful. And then detect traps. Oh, I mean, if you... That's kind of pointless for me. I know where every single trap in the game is, I think, honestly. But still, if you're new, that's good. Finally, time magic. You can just... This is not a very powerful, like, win a battle kind of spell, but you re-roll the enemy formation and ambush, etc. So, like I said in the intro, in theory, this can save you from a world of hurt. It's kind of like a life spell, sort of. Unless the time mage is killed. And then, naturally resistant to time. There's not a lot of time spells, time elemental spells, but there's a few. And, you know, that's okay. And, we get some spells. So, anyway, let's get to it. I'm not gonna, like, talk to every single person, but there are new people like this guy here, who says that some people talk to you differently depending on who is at the front of your party. So, like, for instance, Arilon the Dancer just says that if you bring a dancer, you can talk to her and get something. And bards talk to a lot of people. Like, different classes have different things. I don't think I have anyone in my group that really needs to talk to everybody, thankfully, so I'm not going to worry about it. However, there are 3 secrets. And we press an interact command to search with the location. So this is close. I have no idea where they are. And we get a heal potion. I mean, I hope we get some good stuff. Maybe it's like over here. Okay. Maybe I think it's once I've done this a few times, I'll probably be able to figure out how the developer hides stuff. So there you go. And yeah, we move fast. There is also a dash button, so we can run real fast. Nobody else had a world command, right? So we can probably leave the thief in front most of the time. Because no one else has any, like, utility being in the front. Depending on your party, you might want to switch around a bit more, but we get to use the thief. Alright, so weapons. We even have, like, multiple pages. So, here's the thing. Great swords are what Dark Knights use. And I think it's the only weapon type they can equip. Which is... Well, you'll see. Looks like hunters can wield daggers and bows. We'll definitely be going bows. The time mage is probably just like a white mage, just gonna use staves, which isn't much. And the thief will be a rapier at the very least. It's not much. Alright. And then for armor, probably the standard. Heavy armor for the fightery guy, wooden armor for the mediums, and no armor for the mage. Or basically no armor. Alright, so that's our first set. Very important to note here, the Iron Greatsword, although it has very good damage and crit for a starting weapon, minus 30% hit. Renaissance adds these little menus, which is pretty nice. But yeah, you can see, like, minus 35% hit rate from a normal rapier is brutal. Yeah, that's the trouble. So that means we have a negative 25% hit rate, which means we will not be hitting twice, and we will do one big swing and miss most of the time. Now, if you have a party that has access to certain spells, it will make it less terrible. I don't know if we're going to have access to those certain spells, but we'll see. Also, interestingly, in this Renaissance game, the magic shops update to who you have. So, we will have multiple pages because time magic is considered black, as is Dark Knight magic. So you kind of see like Fire, Sleep, Lock, Lightning is the standard Black Mage set. The Dark Knight learns some of those spells, and then I think just 2 per level usually. Yeah, he's learns Bio. That's the one. And then the Time Mage will have access to a mix of black and white, I think. But he does have like Burst, which is kind of the same as Fire, just Time Elemental, which is good. Not very much resist time, but also nothing is weak to it, I don't think. And then there's a bunch of these like decay ones where if you're gonna wait around for 20 turns, you can kill enemies like that. It doesn't seem very powerful to me, but you know, I think that's all from the MMO actually. That seems very likely. And then white magic, we might not be getting any at all, so that's how it's gonna be. How much money have we got? We got 200 bucks. We can buy 2. Thanks to our thief. Actually, you know what? Before I spend any more money, it is possible we'll be getting more stuff in the castle. So let's go look around. There's 2 items. Is it per floor? It is per floor. Okay. Alright, free gloves. That's okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to equip my armor too. Good catch. But yeah, it's possible that like we would find some items in here that you wouldn't want to have to It's probably at the end of that guy's hall, right? Yeah. He needs to get out of the way. I'm almost willing to bet that it's at the end there. I don't know if I can get him. Like, he needs to randomly walk out of the way. We'll be back. Let's go find the other one. Somewhere near here. General area. It's like hot and cold. Probably on this side. By the armory. Zoom. Oh man, we zoom good. It's not. Seems to be not this way, actually. I was wrong. Oh, he left the zone for a second there. Okay, okay. This is fun. This is what we like to do, right? Must be in here. There. 1 pure potion. Great. Worth it. I got an achievement for it. I don't know why. But he's out of the way. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, well, a couple potions is better than nothing, but it's not much. So far, I mean, first town, I wasn't expecting much, but yeah, the thief has not redeemed himself via searching yet. Even if he found like 500 gold, I would have been happier. Alright, let's pick up something for our time mage to do. Haste is not actually fast. It doesn't give you double attack. I think I'll just give him a standard damage spell to start. And I might... Early game, sleep's not bad, so actually having access to a couple of casts of that can be good, depending on what we run into early on. So anyway, let's get to it. Select your save slot. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, feels like we're playing FF1. If you're really familiar with FF1, some of the inputs and music don't match up perfectly. Like, it's pretty close, but there are little minor, like... It's interesting. Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't know much about... The Hunter's the only one I'm really unfamiliar with entirely. But yeah, there's some differences between the inputs and sound effects and stuff. The timing's a little bit weird. Alright, so... we can continue charging our aim, which is pointless against imps. I just want to see what it does. Our Dark Knight continues to miss. The Thief is actually doing a tremendous amount of damage for a level 1 Thief. So what, do we just go fight? Oh, damage 240. So what, we charge for 2 turns? It goes 120% per turn, maybe? Is that what that is? So you get a little bit more than double. Interesting. And then we get fangs, which we... how do we craft them? craft an arrow selected from the magic menu outside of combat. So we go here. Alright, so you make custom arrows. But we'll need 2 fangs per fang shot. I see. Fangs and hides, fangs and wings, fangs and tails. This is looking like a very grindy class, just off the bat, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get enough over time that it won't be a big deal. Can we also just get those from just killing normally? Because charging up like that is... Well, he didn't even get a single turn. Like, completely pointless, basically, against the imps. My goal here is just to get 1 level up, and then we'll go fight Garland. Yeah, okay, we get a Fang just for a regular attack. Good enough. I would say a good group can probably go kill Garland at level 1. I don't think this group is so strong that we can do that. But you can see when the Dark Knight hits, he does do a ton of damage. Although, to be honest, everybody here is kind of high. We're at 26 damage, 11. Yeah, the Thief needs, like, crits and stuff. And 8 is not much either. Interesting. Have I made a huge mistake? Nah, we'll be okay, I think. We are basically 0 healing. Who needs healing, though, right? Now, if we can make a few of those, like, was it anti-beast fangs? That would work pretty good against some wolves and mad ponies, some of the other early game kind of annoying creatures to fight at level 1. So in theory, that might speed things up if we go fight them instead. I expect we're, like, about a level, just about level up. Okay, it's actually going a little slow. We're getting small groups of imps. They can come up to 5, so this is better. There we go. I mean, you generally don't have level 1 sweeper spells or anything at this point in the game, so this is, like, pretty standard. It's possible the Dark Knight could solo Garland, actually. With chain armor, Garland's not going to do a ton of damage, and because he can life drain basically forever, it's going to be slow. You'll miss a lot, and he has to hit to heal himself, but in theory, he might actually be able to do that. Anyway, there we go. So this is just like vanilla FF1. Every class has a set of abilities attributes they will level up on. When they get a level up, they will always get a certain number of strength, agility, etc. And then other stats that they don't guaranteed get are random chance. So there's some RNG in how your characters grow up. I'm not going to worry about that too much, but they show it all, which is probably good if you're trying to min-max and reload all the time. But yeah, no one's going to be getting a whole lot out of level ups other than a couple spell slots here and there. Well, what do I say? We're getting stats, we're getting HP, it's all good. What I will do is buy a tent, and we'll go try to fight Garland. Should be okay. We can buy... Oh, and we can buy 2 at a time, even better. So we're probably going to need a lot of heal potions, is what I'm thinking, because we're not gonna have much healing. Makes dungeon diving a little bit spicy. I was wondering if my my archer guy would get... there was like a hunting ability in FF5, and you could get like the birds that would heal everybody, which is a pretty good backup healing spell. For free, basically, just random if you get it or not. To summon animals. But I don't think I see... maybe after promotion, but certainly not for the first part of the game. Oh, I should make some of those arrows. Yeah, I can craft. That's good. Sure, and we've got some beast arrows. They are... damage plus 75% chance to reduce stats. That doesn't actually sound that good. I thought it'd be like double damage. They all do... Oh, most of them have double effectiveness against different families. Giants, flying, aquatic, dragon, spellcaster. Let's think about how far you'd go when you'd get... I guess it depends on... I don't know when I'll get the drops for these, but like... Spellcaster would be great against, like, Astos. And maybe the Lich. Obviously, dragons. Aquatics, like, not till Sea Shrine, mostly. Trying to think of big bosses. Giants are pretty common. Magic Beast covers a lot of stuff that I don't remember all of them. And then humanoids. Okay. Interesting. Poach enemies when you kill them. Okay. I'm trying to see what makes these guys good, and I'm not seeing it just yet. But so far we can do some fang shots, which reduce their stats a little. It might work on Garland, I guess. Let's just go. Do I care enough to get the cap and the armor? I guess we give it. Oh right, I actually do want to search around a little bit. Normally, one of the things having the thief is going to be different is because I normally just sort of zoom through dungeons. Because, you know, once you know where all the chests are and effectively what's in them, there's no point searching anymore. Creeps are pretty strong for, like, level 1, level 2. Normally I would run, but kind of just testing this group out. There's our extra armor. Now, the thief is already half dead. Let's move him down a little bit, because I can't res him. I'm going to give the... So the cap, again, if you're really new to these games, the gloves and the cap are both just 1 absorb, like 1 defense. It's not much. So I'll put him on the mage that has basically nothing. So there's something to the right, I think. We're not fighting 2 of them. That's too much. Someone will die. And then this is just a backup cabin. Bones you could probably win, but they're not... They do a bit of damage. They hit harder than goblins, basically. These doors are locked on the right side. This is more time than I almost ever spend in this temple at level 1, level 2. Okay, something nearby. Ooh, a scimitar. Now we're talking. That's something you can't normally get till Provoka, and costs 200 gold. Alright, alright. Yeah, keep finding me actual, real upgrades. I will change my mind on this, this little guy. I can't remember if basic spiders can even poison you. They probably can. It's the arachnids you fight in Elfland that are really annoying. Poison you all the dang time. But they're also pretty weak, so we'll take that. Something... Was it like... Okay, if I was a sneaky game designer... Because you can't normally walk there unless you, like, specifically move when you... Like, you know, is that what we're doing? No. This is probably where I would have hidden it. Unless it's, like, straight down from the stairs. That'd be kind of dumb. No. Something close by. Oh, it sparkled. I wonder what controls the sparkle. Like, what determines whether you get those regularly or not. We do have another tent. I'll just use one now. I feel like we're kind of 1 fight away from someone dying. There is still another item in here. Might be in here. I'm gonna guess it's behind Garland. Okay, first real fight. We can do blood weapon, but lifesteal doesn't matter unless we've been hit. Sleep. I guess I could have tried that out. I only had the 1 charge of it though. But let's try lowering his stats. And oh right, I never tried stealing money. I forgot about that. We can restart if things go bad, I guess. All right, good start. 22 damage and a miss. We stole. It's going a little bit too fast. I couldn't see how much money we stole. But you know, sure. Do a couple of these. Well, we're getting good accuracy. Okay, well, we absolutely crushed him at level 2, so maybe we could have done it at level 1, yeah. So far, so good. Now, we might have to come back. If the treasure is behind the princess, we can't get it without talking to her, and she's going to teleport us out, so that won't work. You know, these creeps actually put up a better fight than Garland did. That's kind of funny. Because, I mean, I didn't go all out on them. Oh, there, I saw the sparkle. Alright, we're done. Let's get out of here. Alright, standard stuff. Maybe build a bridge, give us a loot. You can cancel out before the music stops playing, so you get that weird overlap sound. Let's get this cutscene out of the way first before I save. Actually, here, I'll show you that sleep spell, because I never even bothered to use the charge. You know, 4 out of 5 imps don't like being put to sleep. It's certainly not bad. If you had to pick one level 1 black magic spell, it'll also make the pirate fight and Provoka like trivial. I think we'll zoom there. For first episode, we'll probably try to keep these around an hour long. I'll see how far I can get just to get the intro done here. This is the standard, except for the names here for the testers and programmers and stuff. The story is all the same, obviously. So, I'm trying not to rush. I know some people get mad when I rush too much, but also, like, I don't want this series to go on for super, super long. The fun part is the new stuff. And I guess we should stop by Matoya's cave because of stealing. You gotta rob her, basically. But I'm feeling stronger than I thought I would feel, actually. Just as we destroyed Garland and didn't even run into any trouble. Usually I mean, when I was a kid, I always got to level 3 or 4 before I dealt with Garland in the first dungeon. But you can really do it at level 1 with a good party, so... Clearly level 2 was overkill. Let's do... And because we can zoom, it's so much faster than the old days. Now this fight, we should probably take this seriously if we're going to actually do this fight. Ogres early on are no joke. I'm going to try to kill the creep first, because it's got about half the hit points. And does similar damage. The ogre definitely does more damage, but hey, we just dropped his attack. Maybe we should try that blood weapon thing, seeing as Cecil's about to die. So we give him lifesteal. Now, I wonder if we should, like, spam some more. I have a feeling aim is not going to be very good most of the time, but... The shots... It seems like they don't stack. So that one shot lowered his attack, but it might have lowered it by, like, a significant amount. I don't know. Anyway, we got the kill, we got the levels, we got the gold. What are we looking at here? Damage plus 75% chance. Oh, it's just a percent chance. I mean, physical attack is only 4 to 8 points. Like, okay, I'm gonna pull up the bestiary here. Don't look at all the secrets, but I'm gonna pull up an ogre. 4 to 8 points. So is that taking his basic attack from 18 to 14? Like, because they usually have a range of a number to double the number is a standard thing, basically. I think they're all like that. That's just how it was programmed. That's how your spells work. That's just the damage range. So he's got an attack power of 18, and the range is up to double that. And with a crit, it's more. But so if it's just -4 base, that takes an 18 to 36 to a 14 to 28, which isn't a ton, but then you subtract the absorb from it, so that puts 14 to 28 down to 0 to 13 kind of thing is the way that would work, other than crits. But is that, like, that's not gonna, unless it scales up, that's gonna get obsolete very quickly, basically. Alright, let's rob her. So we get the usual heal potions, pure potions. I see the sparkle. At least they get some sparkles. Now, what controls the sparkling? Is it while I'm searching? I'm sure people watching at home have seen many sparkles by now. But I mean, I guess it makes sense that they're all on the coins. It's gotta be on one of the skulls, right? No, it was in there all along. Okay. Okay, not very exciting, but we got some more healing potions and stuff. I guess we gotta... One thing that we'll have to keep doing is managing our arrow crafting. So we probably don't want to... We don't want to spam those too often. I don't want to fight a bunch of wolves. That's too much. In fact, we did fight that big ogre fight. It would be a real shame to lose our progress now and die. So let's put a save down. We're level 3. I'm going to make the executive decision that fighting imps is no longer valuable. Also, I did notice that our thief, now healed, has more HP than the archer. Fine, we do need some kills. That's okay. Try to debuff the one we're not targeting down. that just do nothing? I mean, I hope the accuracy gets better. If it's always 75%, that's not very reliable. Did we get a different kind of... We get tongues from creeps. Okay. So that means we'll unlock... part of what we need for a mute arrow. Oh. They have different names. Okay, that's going to be confusing. So Fang Shot makes beast arrows. Stun Shot is leg shot. Peel Shot is wing... Okay, that... I wish they had the consistent naming conventions here, but... Alright. I guess it's the name of the ability and then the name of the arrow is just similar, but... this is a pretty tough fight. I don't know if this is a good idea. It'll be better if we get a good sleep off. 1, 2, 3. That should help. We got the attack down on the guy on the right. I think we'll be okay here. I'll even go for another attack down. We're not going to need it against the pirates anyway. So the thing with Mad Ponies is they get lots of attacks, which usually overruns your early game armor and HP. But the sleep gave us a couple turns. The archer debuff makes it a lot safer. They can attack all they want, but they're not going to do much damage. Yeah, I generally don't take big Mad Pony fights either on either. I'm just having fun here, testing these guys out. They're not even really worth it. One ogre is worth like 4 of those fights. All right, Provoka. This should be pretty simple. We'll heal up. Actually, hold on. Before we heal up, let's go treasure hunting. There it is. Just a heal potion. It's probably going to be in like one of these like houses or something, right? There it is. It was just 5 gold. Okay, that's not worth your time. I mean, I'm sure there's an achievement for getting all the gold, all the treasure. Where's the pirate booty? Ah, right there. It's right beside him. Okay, cabins are worth lots of gold. They're not something I normally buy anyway, but... Alright, let's fight some pirates. I don't think these guys get buffed. They're just the same as usual, and we're... Well, we technically can go put them all to sleep. No need for any skills. I mean, we might as well use burst, I guess. It'll be a guaranteed kill rather than a chance to miss. Sleep still doesn't last very long. It's not like a very good spell most of the time, especially if you're playing solo. It's basically pointless because they wake up usually after 1 turn. In the vanilla, I believe it may have been a bug technically, but I think they always woke up immediately after 1 turn. I think in Renaissance, it might be like 50-50 or something, where they wake up regularly, but not necessarily instantly. But I'm not 100% on that either. Anyway, super easy. Nothing to worry about. Alright, we got the ship. All the townspeople are back. We should look at some of the spells. I have a feeling... Oh, also of note, of differences. Usually in FF1 on the NES, color palettes for sprites are very limited. So everyone would have the same color palette in this town. Although this guy would look like a wizard, he would be a blue wizard. He is from Melmond, which has a orange color palette, which in the Renaissance, now you get to see an orange wizard, which is really cool. Normally, that's not how it would work. But, no white magic. Okay. White magic's for other people. But we have access to... Deals damage to what? Pain spell. Deals damage to 1 foe equal to the damage sustained by this character. So you take a bunch of damage and then you hit them. We've got a time elemental confusion. Not much resist time. Mark. It does hit all enemies and it will do 15 damage. And the whole thing with Mark is like melee attacks also trigger Mark damage. So you can get early on, like that could add up. We've got single target darkness. And then we've got multi-target darkness. But status elemental, without getting into the nitty-gritty, is more often resisted than time elemental, even though it's less effective. Nobody can learn temper, which is one of the spells that's bugged normally, but works here. I actually think Dark might be... Well, I don't have a lot of money. I think weapons are more important. What can we equip? We already got a free Scimitar. We can buy a Steel Greatsword, which is not as bad as the last one, and we can buy a Longbow. Maybe what I'll do, because I don't want to buy something just to get something better randomly, is, you know, we'll save our gold for now. We're not really hurting, even with basic weapons. So I'll do what I always do. We'll go to Dwarf Cave, steal some gold from them, and maybe some other treasure. That's a lot of sharks. We can probably take them. Yeah, now's when we want more fang shots, I guess. Kind of ran out. Well, didn't have enough money. This is the classic thing when you under level. This actually might not be a fight we can win. I don't know. I wish that sleep had gone a little bit quicker, but unfortunately the wrong shark is asleep. I have no way to protect allies in this group. We just have to hope for that. It's basically a 12% chance per... The bottom two slots have a 12% chance per enemy attack to be targeted. So we have to hope that the sharks just bite on Cecil and Zidane, basically. We've got a shark tail. That's cool. Well, Maria's nearly dead. The shark needs to die, like, this turn, or we're in big, big trouble. Yeah. I mean, we'll probably still win, but... going for the focusing on the wizards in the back row is not very nice. And then, yeah, Cecil starts missing. This is why I'm not a huge fan of Dark Knight in the early game. Yes, the damage is pretty impressive, but it's very inconsistent. And consistency is pretty helpful. So unfortunately, this means our XP curve is going to be no longer in sync, which I hate. I usually try to go as long as I can without this happening, but that was a really valuable fight in terms of XP and gold. So I'm not going to reset over that. It's fine. We're right beside town. All right, let's try this again. But now we're level 4, right? Way easier. That was nearly the most difficult encounter we can get in this sea, basically. 2 sharks. You can also get, like, red Sahags instead of normal Sahags. That might be a little bit worse, but... Classic ambush by Sahagins and Odd Eyes. These are, like, the worst sea encounters because they're not really ever worth fighting, and they stun and waste your time. If I was smart, I would have bought a couple more tents, just so I could save it after I'm done here, but I have confidence we'll be okay. We're level 4 now, right? Zidane's already basically dead. Just focusing them down. Alright. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy grinding for arrows yet, but I don't really want to get poisoned to try to run. Alright, Dwarf Cave. Usually, you get about 1,000 gold. But we're going to get more than 1,000 gold. Maybe. We steal a sword? Technically from the outside. It's just a regular hat. Wow. Wow, a hat. Now, if there is treasure inside... there's that one. If the final item is in here, it's locked, so we're not going to be able to get in there. Looks like... Must be somewhere back up here. Okay, we got a longsword. That's good. Assuming anyone can equip it. So this is a sword I don't think you can normally buy till Melmond. It's usually obsolete by the time you get it, because you probably have a mithril or silver sword. Unfortunately, even though we got it early, and it's... I would equip it if I could. It's a straight upgrade over an iron greatsword. Or a scimitar. But we're just going to be selling it. Alright, it's worth some decent gold, I think. Yeah, and that's kind of the standard thing with treasure in these sorts of old RPGs. You know, it doesn't usually accommodate your party. So if the early game accesses a couple really good swords, but no one can equip the swords because you have an archer and a great sword and stuff, then you can't really take advantage of those early loots, which, I don't know. It's just the nature of game design, but I think it's a little bit better when it drops items you can equip for your party mostly, so you don't feel like you're exploring for no actual reward. I mean, at least you can sell it, but... And we do, technically, I need a lot of gold, so... Anyway, we got one more town to search out with 3 more loots. Before I forget, let's sell... So we got, effectively, 375... Or no, 750, sorry. 750 gold for one search isn't bad. That basically doubled the value of going to the dwarf cave early. Which means we probably don't even need to think about... I'd like to go straight to the silver greatsword, honestly, and skip the one in Provoka entirely. The bow is an upgrade, but not a huge upgrade. And the thief... The saber's not strictly better than the scimitar, so he's already fine. So all we're looking for is a bow and a greatsword, really. What else? Okay, we gotta... Don't forget to look for treasure. In terms of armor, there's some of these special scarves. I think bards and dancers can use them. It's a new item type. Technically a shield for some classes that don't get shields. Can't use a shield on a Black Knight or Dark Knight because they use two-handed weapons. And yeah, the copper bracelet is going to be as good as we can get for the Time Mage. And iron armor is really, really good actually for the Dark Knight. I'm going to try to keep my weakest units with a little bit extra armor here. It's kind of taking turns between the hunter and the thief on who's the weakest, to be honest. Something nearby. There we go. Heal potion. Sure. Every time we find one of those, it's like 60 bucks. Like right up here? Not quite. Looks like you just start spamming and then once you get close, you spam it and then eventually it sparkles. A soft is worth 800 gold, but you don't really need them this early on anyway, so. In terms of magic, maybe what we do actually is spend our gold on Burst. It's basically the equivalent of Fire 2, although you can't take advantage of an elemental weakness, so you're not going to do bonus damage. Oh, that'd be funny. Should we just do it right away? Bio 2 is actually pretty good as well, but the Dark Knight gets fewer spell slots than the Pure Mages. Poison's a weird element, because I don't actually memorize what is weak to poison or strong to poison, because it's not a vanilla spell that you can take effect, you can use to your advantage. But no, we're gonna pick up that. You might be like, Blue, you're being silly. We need money for swords and stuff. What are you doing? Well, I'm gonna go to the castle first. I should have done this before I spent my money, technically, because there might have been some more good goodies in here. And if you forgive me for not worrying too much about the story, I assume, for the most part, if you're watching this, you know the general style of FF1 by now. I'm not here to do a thorough copper bracelet. I think, yeah, we can equip that on the Dark Knight. Yeah, I'm not specifically trying to like cover the story. It's the same as it always is. I'll talk to the people that are new when I see them, if I see them. Okay, I've got 2 cabins, a bunch of junk. I don't have level 3 magic yet, but soon. Alright, let's see if we can get a level up. We're almost an hour into the episode, but I want to show you my super trick early on here, if I can... I didn't save it. This is normally I would reset out of because we got ambushed, but we can technically reset ambushes via egress. We got another ambush. Stop that. This is just wasting even more time, but... There we go. And then we'll just run away. I guess you could go run egress until you eventually get free and you'd never be stuck. Oh, come on with the ambushes. These are just worthless fights. They're completely pointless. I don't really see any value in them. Maybe we could... You could go up to Northwest Castle and loot it. Oh man, we are getting just wrecked. I actually don't have enough. I guess I've got a few pure potions thanks to thieving. Usually it's really annoying getting poisoned early on because it's a significant expense, right? Still an ambush. I wonder what is going on with the ambushes. Seems like I'm getting like really bad luck. Maybe my level's a little bit lower than normal or something, but here we go. Come on, get out of here. There we go. So we do have a way of technically avoiding status conditions and death. You know, the egress spell is cool like that. It's a little bit slow. But there's no enemies here, which is why I thought this might be worth it. Oh, it's outside. Oh, I think we have to go all the way around. That's tricky. Okay, another soft kind of garbage. Seems like maybe inside the throne room I should have checked. Okay, but this one I think we should be able to get to from here. 250? That's not much, but that door is locked. I do like the treasure hunt. Like, I'm assuming some of the items will be pretty good. It's just not everyone's gonna be awesome. There we go. Actually, that's pretty good. That saved me $1,000. Okay, good choice. Come up here immediately to get a copper bracelet for free. So we've saved 200 on a scimitar. We got a sellable longsword. We got a copper bracelet. I really shouldn't complain about thieving too much. This is a pretty good start. Of course. Tell is still only level 3 as well. I need some experience. I would like some better combat, basically. These fights are just all the worst. I want ogres, mostly, as a rule, because they give you good gold. This was his preemptive strike. This fight is pretty brutal. I don't know if I'd recommend taking this fight. In fact, I'm going to say no. Until if you have access to fire too, sure. But otherwise, that fight sucks. Because they got stun touch. Here we go. We can probably win this fight. Let's take out the creeps first. I mean, the ogre is known for having a lot of gold. Maybe we can double up on that a little bit. Unfortunately, my message thing is too fast. So I can't actually read exactly how much gold we're getting. Usually I don't need to read, you know, it doesn't really matter, but we're going to go to the inn after this fight. So as long as we survive, it's all good. Spend your spells here. So I know Mug does less damage, but don't do that. So in theory, we got a bunch of extra gold from the ogre. The ogre usually drops 190 gold plus a bit from the creeps. So I think that's the standard normal gold drop. And then whatever else we stole on top of it. So you could do math by looking at your gold in between. Like, minus 225 and what it was before, and that's how much we stole. It's not going to be a huge amount, but I guess it helps. Okay. We are at basically an hour in, but I think I've got enough time to do what I want to do here. Well, assuming Tella just get one shot by an ogre. God, I really focusing on that. Yeah, our lack of any healing. I mean, a white mage at this point doesn't do much. They've only got like a few charges of cure spell, but this is when I would use a cure spell for sure. All right, you keep mugging. I mean, we can probably afford to go to the inn every time. Oh, jeez. The one person I need to be alive. And he's at the bottom, right? Like I said, 12% chance they hit him 3 times. It's just such a classic FF1 kind of thing. Alright. Yeah, we had 700 and something. I don't think we're stealing very much gold, to be honest. This, I think it's more expensive here than back in Canaria. That's a lot more expensive. It's like 4 times the price. Never mind. We're going for a sailing trip to go res. That's too expensive for my taste. Too expensive for my blood. Man, here I am trying to get something cool done by the hour mark, and the game is just crushing me here. The encounter rate, the ambushes, the focusing on the one person I need to level up. It's not helping. If necessary, I will do a little bit of grinding between episodes for the Let's Play. It's not something I'm necessarily planning on, but it can be helpful. I do think the in the original game, like the NES version, there's a little bit more like input buffer, I think it is specifically. So when you're trying to menu in Renaissance, it doesn't always react quite the same. And I don't know if it's like a gamepad connectivity thing, but I've definitely noticed it a few times where, you know, I'm pressing buttons on my controller even right now, and it's not as reliable as old NES or even the emulators. So I'm not sure if that's the programmer's fault specifically, or like just how the gamepad connection is just done in Windows or whatever. But I don't usually have this problem in other games, so I assume it's sort of like a, like I said, kind of a buffering thing where I think on the NES the game held on to the input you put on for like half a second after you press it or something, and it just makes menuing, you get very much used to the timing after you've played it for a while. I still need another level. Oh man. Well, I guess I'll leave that as a something to look forward, a cliffhanger for the next episode. What I'll do between episodes is I'll just get everyone to level 5, because pretty much no matter what we do at this point, it's going to take some grinding. Now, 600 XP, 200 XP, it's not going to take very long. I'll just kill some ogres and stuff. I'll actually... Well, I mean, I've kind of showed... I've rushed a little bit to get here. But I'll do a little bit of grinding between episodes, maybe level 5, maybe level 6. And when we come back, we'll do some progression, basically. Because there's... I know I'm zooming through a lot of stuff, but the cool stuff requires money and XP and levels. And I can't do that easily. So when we come back, next episode, I'll show you what I've been sort of hinting at. Maybe you can guess already. Maybe you already know just by looking at what the spell description is here. Huh, that looks interesting, right? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. It's just kind of a fun little casual Let's Play here. Just play some old Final Fantasy with a little spin. I'll see you next time. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.